Hi, everybody. For writing workshop today, we are going to take some excellent notes on the big idea in this book. Then we're going to use those notes tomorrow to write a proof paragraph. You need to go and grab a pencil now, and you're going to work right along with me. One more thing, pause, rewind, stop, and replay this video at any time. Okay, our three big science content words that I want you to learn from this reading are right here. First one is weathering. Weathering is the slow breakdown of rock. Sediment. Sediment are very small pieces of rock, such as sand, gravel, and dust. And finally, erosion is the movement of weathered rocks and sediment. And you've all seen weathering in the playground. You've seen the bits of concrete getting broken up, and you see little bits of dust around the bigger bits, and that little bits of concrete dust is actually sediment. Ever-changing Earth. The shape and look of the Earth's surface changes over time. It never stops changing. Rivers bend, shorelines wear away, valleys grow deeper, canyons grow wider, mountains break down. These changes can be caused by the blowing wind, or they can be the result of running water. Ice can cause these changes too, so can the sun's rays. Even people play a part. Earth's surface has changed a lot over the years and continues to do so. Now, you all know we're reading a nonfiction book, so the big idea is always in big print up at the top, and here it's in red, ever-changing Earth. So the big idea is the shape and look of the Earth's surface is always changing. Now, they also put here that it's caused by wind, caused by water, ice, the sun's rays, and even people. But for our writing purposes today, we're just going to focus on how wind and water changes the Earth's surface. So go ahead and write the big idea, and I am going to write it too. Okay, here's what I wrote. The Earth's surface changes over time. Wind, water, and more. Big ideas, wind and water. Imagine a fierce storm, rain pours, winds blow wildly. What do you think the rain and wind do to the Earth's surface? They change it. The wind can loosen small bits of dirt and dust. Drip by drip, the rain can wear down a mountain. This process is called weathering. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put what I think the most important fact from this page is right here. And I'd like you to put what you think the most important fact is. I wrote, wind and water can wear down the surface of the earth. This is called weathering. Over time, wind and rain wear down the Earth's surface. They break it into small pieces. These pieces are called sediment. Wind and water then move the sediment. They carry it away. This movement is a process known as erosion. Weathering and erosion can happen at the same time. They work together to change Earth's surface. Okay, so let's get that big idea down there, that big fact from this page. I wrote, weathering breaks down the surface of the earth into small pieces called sediment. This sediment gets carried away, and this is called erosion. Wild waters. Okay, so I'm seeing two rivers here, and so we know we're going to be reading some more about water and the process, how water is involved in the process of erosion. Sediment can blow into streams and rivers. It moves with the water on its way to the ocean. It carves into hills, it cuts into mountains. This is how valleys are made. It is also how canyons are made. The Grand Canyon was made this way. The Grand Canyon is huge. It is 277 miles long and it is 1.6 miles deep. A river carved the massive canyon. It took millions of years. I'm very interested in the Grand Canyon. I've always wanted to go, and I've seen lots of pictures of it. Let me think about what I want to focus here, though, is the fact that water is part of this whole erosion process. So I'm going to focus on that. And I'd like you to write what you think the most important fact is on this page. Okay, here's what I got. The sediment ends up in rivers and streams. The movement of the water carves into the earth and makes valleys and sometimes canyons. Freezing ice. Okay, we're going to see how ice affects erosion. Sometimes water turns into ice. This can cause weathering too. Water can run into cracks in rocks. If the air is cold enough, the water will freeze. It turns to ice and expands or gets bigger. When this happens, the ice widens the cracks. It can even split rocks. Later, if the air gets warmer, the ice will melt. It will turn back into water. When this happens, erosion begins. The water carries away tiny pieces of the rock. That's very interesting. I have noticed how when I make ice cubes, the ice expands and gets bigger. Have you ever made the mistake of putting a Coca-Cola in the freezer, and sometimes it's when it expands, when it freezes, it'll pop the top right off. So I feel like I can understand how this might happen. Okay, I'm going to write the most important fact from this page. Okay, students, because of space restrictions here, I had to erase some of my work, but don't worry about it because the notes will be back and large tomorrow side by side as we write our paragraph. But the information I got from freezing ice is when water runs in between the cracks of rocks, it can turn to ice. The ice gets bigger as it freezes. This helps break up the rock. In summer, the ice will melt and carry bits of the rock away. And now we're moving to our last page, which focuses on wind and water. And it's very interesting, and it is about glaciers. A glacier is a very large sheet of ice and snow. Look at this right here. Wow. It moves slowly down a slope. As it moves, it cuts into nearby rocks. Over time, the glacier melts. The water carves out large valleys. One such valley is called Yosemite Valley. A very long time ago, there were glaciers in Yosemite. These glaciers help make a beautiful place to visit. So that is our final piece of note-taking we're doing, and it is on glaciers, which are large sheets of ice and snow that as it moves, it cuts into the ground and changes how it looks. So I'm just going to get that final piece of information down. And here's my final piece of information. Glaciers also cut into the earth as they slowly move down a slope. Okay, well, so we just focused today on how wind and water can cause weathering and erosion. If you continue to read this book, you're going to see the sun can cause weathering and erosion, plants and animals, harsh chemicals, and pollution, not surprisingly, can play a part. And here are some solutions to stop erosion on the final page. So I'd like you to keep reading it. But tomorrow we'll take these notes and we will write a proof paragraph together. So have a great day, everybody. Bye.